In this video, I'm going to share with you 8 ways to make a narcissist respect you. And be sure to stay tuned till the end. The last point is by far the most powerful. Let's do it. Hey friends, Tamie M, Joyce here, empowerment life coach, creator of the Freedom class and the Ascension class. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. Please take a second to say hello and introduce yourself in the comment section below. And if you're back, of course, welcome back. Thanks for showing up and for tuning in. Either way, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss a new video. So let's talk about 8 ways to make a narcissist respect you. Now, the truth is, people with a destructive narcissist personality pattern aren't actually capable of real respect. Even during the initial idealization phase, when they temporarily hold you in high regard at the beginning stages of a relationship, what looks like respect is actually nothing more than perception manipulation, designed to ensure that you see them in a positive light. But don't kid yourself, it's not real. And if you spend enough time with them, you'll soon find out just how not real it is. Now that said, surviving the dynamic you find yourself in when you feel you have no alternative to remain engaged is really what this is about. And if you can do that in a way that inspires even a hint of respect, however inauthentic, you'll at the very least be better off. So this video is for those of you who, for whatever reason, are choosing to continue to engage with a destructive narcissist to some degree, and you want to be able to do so with as much confidence, dignity, and peace as humanly possible. Now, if you play your cards right with the narcissist, you may be able to enjoy something resembling respect if you're willing to expend the energy necessary to play the game. But this requires that you begin to cultivate internally what you want to experience in your external reality. In other words, you have to be willing to do the work necessary to get yourself to a place where you can begin to embody self-love and self-esteem, as well as self-respect, in order for any of this to work. And make no mistake, operating from a place of genuine self-love, self-esteem, personal integrity, and self-respect will be a problem if you're in any way dealing with toxic, insecure, and empathy-impaired people. Your strength and confidence isn't likely going to win you any popularity contests with people of this nature, and you have to decide to be okay with that. If your relationships can't survive you speaking your truth or you being yourself authentically and unapologetically, then you're in the wrong room, and definitely with the wrong people. And you can sort that out over time. In the meantime, when it comes to the narcissist and the issue of respect, it's important to understand that underneath the false persona and the mask that the narcissist wears, they are deeply insecure, shame-based people, fearful people. No matter how much false bravado they present with, I assure you, beneath the mask, it's a whole other story. And this is why they behave so disrespectfully toward you and others. They treat you with disrespect in a feeble attempt to confirm their own false sense of superiority. And a good way to deal with that when it's happening is to simply say something along the lines of, you don't have to put me down or treat me poorly in order to feel better about yourself. And then silence, not another word. Breathe into your body while you let the message land, no matter what they come back with. Just turn on your heel and walk away if necessary. The less you say after delivering a message like that, the more effective it will be. And on that note, here are 8 ways to make the narcissist respect you. Number 1, limited exposure. That's right. Start there. As the old saying goes, familiarity breeds contempt. And few people are more contemptuous for no good reason than people who land on the spectrum of destructive narcissism. So, low doses, minimal contact, and maybe even ultimately full-blown no contact if that's what's necessary and appropriate. Be prepared to calmly end conversations, especially when it's clear that you're not being heard or the narcissist is deliberately misunderstanding and therefore misrepresenting you and your motives. Just stop. Mid-sentence if you have to. When everything you're saying is being twisted, disregarded, or ignored, while everything you're actually not thinking, feeling, or saying is being projected all over you, it's time to stop engaging. When you find yourself engaged in any kind of a circular, mind-bending conversation that is clearly going nowhere fast, stop. And again, even if it's mid-sentence, walk away. It's okay to take care of yourself by allowing them limited access to you. You do not have to answer the phone just because they call, reply to every email or text, answer the door if they show up on your doorstep. Nor do you have to participate and capitulate just because they call a meeting, for that matter. The calling of a meeting is classic narcissistic behavior, by the way, and often under the guise of working things out or talking things through, when in reality, it's an opportunity for them to hold court and exercise dominion and control over you. And the moment they realize that isn't going to happen, the situation will escalate to the point where you are blamed for whatever has gone sideways. You'll quickly find yourself in the midst of being accused of doing and being all manner of things you've never actually done or been. And naturally, you'll be compelled to defend yourself. So do yourself a favor and sidestep the meeting altogether. Just say no thank you. And go live your life without all the extra nonsense and insanity. When people are genuine, that's one thing. But when you know they aren't by virtue of your experience with them, their patterns of behavior, whether that be their action or inaction, never mind their words, words are easy to say. Instead, pay attention to their patterns of behavior. Their action as well as their inaction will tell you everything you need to know. Remember, when dealing with a destructive narcissist, overt or covert, going no contact is an act of self-love and self-care. So give yourself permission and give yourself the gift of limited exposure, if not full-blown no contact. Number 2, keep your cards close to your chest. When you have no alternative but to expose yourself, do what you can to fly under the radar to the best of your ability. Master the poker face and the gray rock method. And you can learn more about how to do that by watching this video here. The thing is, if they know you're onto them, if they realize they've exposed themselves to you, look out. You can and will be a target. If you can keep that to yourself while you work on an exit strategy, you'll be so much better off. Number 3, become bulletproof. Now, admittedly, this requires that you have some real healing and recovery under your belt, as it's much easier to be bulletproof in the face of a destructive narcissist and all of their antics when you're not walking around with a ton of unresolved pain and trauma in your field. So do your healing and recovery work so you are stronger, more grounded, clear, and confident, more self-assured. In addition, decide what you are and are not available for and stick to your new standards, period. You set the standard in your life, and a big part of this requires that you stop reacting to their nonsense. And of course, this takes practice, and again, having some healing and recovery under your belt. The bottom line is, do whatever you need to do to no longer be an appealing target for a source or a source of narcissistic supply. That's what I mean by becoming bulletproof. If you do your work, you can get there, and much faster than you think. Number 4, self-sovereignty. Maintaining your personal sovereignty. In other words, get to the place where you don't need the narcissist for anything. And I mean anything, not emotionally or physically. Now, maybe they need you or you have something they want or need. That's an entirely different conversation. The point I'm making is to never allow yourself to be indebted to a narcissist for anything whatsoever. But be careful here, because you can easily inflict narcissistic injury by accidentally triggering the narcissist's sense of rejection or abandonment. After all, who do you think you are to reject or abandon the narcissist, right? Now, if you're anything like me, you won't be the least bit fazed by this or the inevitable smear campaign that ensues, and getting to this place will take some practice and some serious healing for sure, but you can get there. The point is, narcissists are hungry for power, and in your absence, the only power they have over you is manipulating perceptions and poisoning the minds and hearts of others towards you, even that of children, sadly. Such is the depth of their insecurity, envy, bitterness, and resentment. And they'll justify all of this through their delusional belief that it's disrespectful of you to not hang around and allow them to continue to disrespect you. It's disrespectful for you to not be willing to stand still and pretend that they don't criticize, diminish, demean, gossip about, and outright smear you In other words, disrespect you on every possible level. So again, maintain your personal sovereignty at all costs. You don't need them for anything. Now, comment below and let me know whether or not you're finding value in this video. Let me know in the comment section below. And if you're struggling with narcissistic abuse in any area of your life, you're likely an excellent candidate for my 8-week transformational coaching program, The Freedom Class. If that's of interest to you, there's a link in the description below this video where you can apply to see if you qualify for a free one-on-one consultation with either myself or a member of my team. Number 5, develop self-agency. Now, self-agency is defined as the capacity for individuals to act independently of their own will, making their own choices and decisions without influence or control from others. In other words, know your mind, trust yourself, and act accordingly. And people with this kind of healthy self-esteem live in alignment with their personal integrity, have strong boundaries, and therefore are less vulnerable to emotional manipulators, toxic bullies, and other predators. And the added benefit here is this is where the line in the sand is drawn and you stop enabling the narcissist and their destructive attitudes and behavior. They won't like it, but over time they will respect you for it. Although they'd rather die than admit it, deep down they'll respect you for not being an easy mark and standing still while they abuse you. Number 6, be boundaried. Keep your distance emotionally and otherwise. Do not share, certainly don't overshare, and attempt to bond in any way. Expose yourself or give them any ammunition they can later use against you. Less is more with these people, always, and whatever you do, never ever show any weakness. Number 7, own your frequency. Take responsibility for and ownership of your vibrational frequency. Everything is energy, and the energy you carry is everything. If you calibrate at a frequency that screams unsure, insecure, needy, fearful, hungry for love, validation, approval, you, my friend, are going to be a narcissist lunch. If, however, you embody and emanate the frequency of calm, grounded, self-assured, confident, filled with self-love, able to accept and validate and approve of yourself, regardless of anyone else's opinion, it's clear that you need nothing from the narcissist. Get to that place, and I assure you the whole game changes. And last, but certainly not least, number 8. Uplevel your image and status. Now, before you go taking what I'm about to say out of context, hear me. You don't have to go through life like this. As an empath, you're well aware that we all have inherent value and worth, and as such, you aren't likely struggling with some crazy superiority complex. In fact, the opposite is more likely to be true for you. But when it comes to commanding a narcissist's respect, being somewhat standoffish, aloof, and genuinely confident can be really, really helpful. And although this may very well trigger the narcissist's pathological envy, and let's not forget that the narcissist needs people they perceive to be beneath them to target and project their fear, guilt, shame, contempt, and disdain onto, narcissists also love to be aligned with anyone whom they perceive to have influence or status. Anything or anyone they feel may enhance their own social status or bring them some sort of recognition, even if only by osmosis, is going to command a narcissist's respect on some level. And this is precisely why they do so much name dropping and virtue signaling at every opportunity. Being aligned with anyone who presents with a superior image or status is something the narcissist enjoys, unless and until their pathological envy is triggered, of course. But don't kid yourself. This strategy can be very effective when dealing with a destructive narcissist. Just make sure you're coming from a strong, authentic place, and unlike the narcissist, you've actually got the goods to back it up. And on that note, I'm going to call it a wrap. But before I go, I have a special announcement to make. You might be interested to know that the Ascension class is now open for enrollment, and I am beyond excited to bring you this next level of growth, expansion, and evolution that is this transformational coaching program. If you want to go deep with me into the work of reinventing yourself, then this is for you. Be sure to click on the link in the description below this video to apply to see if you qualify for a free one-on-one consultation with either myself or a member of my team.